Welcome to Fitness and Finance Radio. I am your co-host, Tony Shore, and I do love the sound of my own voice. It's a character flaw. But it's good. Jennifer said it was good that I do. It's important, I guess, in my line of work, right?
Yeah, I said, love what you do.
Right.
I do love what I do.
Yes.
And what I do is talk to you guys, and that's why I love it. You guys are awesome. I look forward to, I do a lot of different podcasts, radio shows. I do production. I do audiobooks. But I really honestly look forward to us recording this show every Friday we record because we always have so much fun. And you guys are great. You guys are so great to work with. I mean, anybody who would wear a hat on his show that says wheels up. I mean, what's not to love?
Right. First of all, wait a second. I think Tony just plugged his audio side gig here.
Yeah.
That's onshorevoiceover.com.
Yes.
That's onshorevoiceover.com.
I have to think, Jennifer, that we need to get 'Twas the Night Before Christmas with TS reading it.
Ooh.
Oh, I could do that.
Is there like do you have like a family section?
That'd be kind of cool.
Like a Christmas,
Well, I don't, but it can happen. I mean, I can do that for you. That's not a problem.
We could be like, all right, kids, gather around the fire. It's time to listen to Tony.
I'll have a pipe and a glass of brandy.
Oh my!
Pipe and a glass of brandy sitting in front of a fire.
I do not approve.
Twas the night before Christmas.
Oh,
brandy.
Sounds right.
I don't know. That sounded too creepy. I'll work on it. But hey, I am here with our host today, Jennifer Scherer, and the man, the myth, the legend, published, quoted, oft-quoted financial advisor, Jeffrey Smith. One of the #1 financial sites right now to go to for information, one of the more respected, at least in the financial community, probably one of the most respected, it's up there, is Kiplinger's. People, Kiplinger or Kiplinger, it's pronounced, I've heard it both ways. So we're just going to roll with whatever you want to call it. But it really is Kiplinger.com. Just go there, and it's so much great information. Some of the stats that we throw out there financially, at least on the show, you can find at Kiplinger.com. But I couldn't believe it when I pulled up Kiplinger, and usually they're quoting the chief financial strategist from Charles Schwab. They've got Warren Buffett being quoted in articles.
Binger's been in there, I'm sure.
So Michael Binger, I don't know, maybe down in the smaller stories, but one of the main stories, I pull it up, and they're quoting Jeff Smith, the retirement Smith. And so, Jeff, tell us, we got to jump right into this. Jeff, you were quoted in a Kiplinger article or interviewed for a Kiplinger.
They reached out and asked me some questions specifically about lifestyle creep and whether I had, experienced that with my clients. And, I've had a few. Most of my clients are really responsible. I mean, they're all responsible, but they're not as susceptible to lifestyle creep. Just because I think, I see the same types of people over and over again. But the people that I have experienced that with, it is very real, and it's very difficult to overcome. Once that does start to happen, it's hard to unwind it. And so I think it is a valuable topic to discuss. And we've talked about some of the stuff on the show before, how to sort of avoid those things, even when you're pre-retiree. But, when you're in retirement, it's even more crucial because typically you're not going to want to go back to work to maintain a lifestyle. What you have is what you have. And so being able to manage that well over a 20 or 30 year period, becomes increasingly important to do that without overspending or trying to keep up with Joneses. It isn't about that anymore. So, but it was really, really cool. They had a couple of questions for me, and I wasn't the only one quoted in that, but I thought it was really cool to be a part of
That's
that
neat.
article. So,
Well, yeah, and lifestyle creep for our listeners out there to understand, it's really what you're saying is lifestyle creep is when your lifestyle improves or increases, you get nicer things or buy a bigger house, but you're spending more than you take in, right? So you're living beyond your means,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happens a lot actually in younger people because the maturity isn't there. It is starting to filter in, and I'll tell you what a lot of it has to do with is that sort of weekend mindset, right? So you live for the day instead of the long term, which is a big change in our culture and in our mindset from the last 50 years, where everything was grinding and saving, paying cash for things. I think that's part of it. The people that have been doing it, they've been doing it for a long time. We're just aging, So I think that, as far as the people that I work with on a regular basis, they're, salt of the earth. They're people that we're probably never going to be susceptible to that anyway. Just because they're,
But it can happen, and it can sneak
yeah.
up on people. It happens even to good people.
Oh yeah. No judgment.
Intentions can be good. I mean, a lot of people get in over their heads with new vehicles or houses, or
Right.
maybe they start to rely too much on credit cards to buy. The neighbors are taking a vacation to around the world. The Greek
And egg 'em on.
cruise or the
Yeah.
Alaskan cruise, and maybe it's not in your budget, but you're like, oh well, we'll do it. And lifestyle creep
You
can
live
happen.
once. Mhm. That's the key phrase that gets you into lifestyle creep is you only live once. Yeah.
Well, and I think that relates to fitness big time, right? Doing more because you can, not because it's necessary. And that can show up in overtraining or buying every single new piece of equipment or, chasing the perfect gadget or meal plan or.
I feel so exposed right now, John.
Yeah.
But I think we all
Jeff,
have like a higher standard of
If there was,
but it's human nature. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not criticizing anyone who has experienced lifestyle creep, because at some point in our lives, a lot of us have been there.
well, I mean, wheels up. I mean, right. So if you're if you want to talk about lifestyle creep, that's private aviation. I have a client who it's definitely above my pay grade, but client that has participated in Wheels Up, and it's private aviation. It's an amazing company. They do really cool things if it's in your budget. But I will tell you that it's so appropriate that I'm wearing this hat today because
because that's if you utilize those services, and I've heard of services, private aviation services like that. And there's some private aviation airlines where you can fly on a private jet, and travel that way. And it's starting to become a little more common, but it's outrageously expensive for most, especially if you're on a fixed income. So not geared toward the retirement community probably, but some people in retirement have a lot of expendable income, but most don't.
If you fly a lot, it becomes more and more enticing as you travel because it's a nightmare to travel. And certainly not advocating for private aviation, but I think I understand it because
I get the want every time I travel. I mean, I just traveled to New Orleans. That's where I was last week. And I was in New Orleans, and my flight got delayed on Friday. I was supposed to fly out of New Orleans back to Minneapolis at 4:20. Delayed. Finally, I got through. The line to the desk at the gate was a long one. All the passengers. It was a full flight. There's 150 people there, however many fit on that plane. Is a big plane, waiting to get information on what's happening. And I finally got through someone at Delta on a chat, and they said, "Yeah, it's going to be canceled. You're going to want to reach out and get a hotel because the next flight." The next nonstop isn't until this time tomorrow, 4:20 tomorrow.
Goodness.
And I said, no, I can't do that. So they got me on a morning flight, and I had to fly through from New Orleans to Atlanta to Minneapolis. So, but I made it home by 11:30 the next day in the AM. But I had to get a hotel, and but yeah, traveling is a pain, and it gets to be more and more of a pain the more I do it. And so it is appealing, and lifestyle creep is appealing, and that's how we get sucked in, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the whole point.
Well, and I think in your industry, Jeff, it's like that's what your industry exists. That's one of the main purposes is to combat it. You to automate it, and so you have investments and savings, and so
and
any
plan for the things you want to do. Maybe you could plan for Wheels Up. Maybe that can be in your budget, but you have to look at the math, right?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I talked about in that article was finding other outlets, right, for the desire to allow that to come in, right? So getting a low cost hobby, or spending more time in fulfilling relationships, spending more time
working out, work on your health instead.
Yeah, I mean, there's 1,000 different things you can do with that time, because time and money are, if you don't have purpose, we talk about that all the time. That's where things can start to creep in. You start to think, geez, did I do it right? Maybe I, should have done this, should have done that. And then it opens the door. I know I've had a client who, after her husband died, she wasn't planning anything, nothing, she just wanted to keep going the way she was. Well, within 6 months, she decided to build a brand new house in the Philippines. And
wow.
Yeah, it just didn't plan for it. You know what I mean? But that's what, she was, and you can't get a loan in the Philippines to buy a house, right? So you have to pay cash there.
Wow.
And so that was really challenging, trying to figure all that stuff out. And so I learned from that. Like, I learned a lot from that whole experience, because she was very safe. So we had to, reallocate a lot of funds. We had to, do a lot of different things creatively just to make it work and not bankrupt her. So,
wow.
But it got done, but it is a challenge. And, she later sold it, thankfully, and recouped a fair amount of that money. But,
yeah, it's tough.
I think things are, and I learned from that, and I learned to sort of flesh out, like, potential, things like that. Are we going to be facing this? Are we going to be facing some sort of, major purchase? And we,
if so, plan for it ahead.
Right, that's what I do. I always, every time we meet, I ask the same questions, and, because, the sooner you can jump on those things, the sooner you can try to meet them head on. But yeah, planning is the most important part of that, because you don't know what you're going to, every day is a new day in retirement. Everything changes. When you're done working, you have more time, you have more thoughts, you have more ability to process thoughts, and you're inundated with media, a lot more. So you're facing, an uphill battle, because everybody's trying to sell you something. So
yeah.
Kind of relate this to the 80-20 rule in fitness. I always, we talk about 80% of the time you're exercising, you're eating healthy, you're sleeping well, you're managing your stress. And 20% of the time you're having a piece of pizza, or you're skipping a workout, or, you're doing something that doesn't completely fit into the box of healthy. And I feel like with lifestyle creep, there's a correlation there. It's like, I think the key is like coming, more into a gray area rather than going into extremes. And that can be in the form of overspending, or in fitness, like overtraining, overexerting. But you gotta keep your foundational habits simple and repeatable, and avoid chasing every trend.
Now, here's the thing, if you're not a boat owner in your 40s, don't be a boat owner in your 70s. You know what I mean? I don't think you know what you're signing up for. It's not a captain's hat and freedom. You know what I mean? It is a lot of work. It's a lot of cleaning. It's a lot of
money and maintenance and storage and everything.
Yes.
And again, my line is, I'm stealing this from Chuck Lucius. You don't need to own a boat. You just need a friend who owns a boat.
Well, Chuck's perfect, right? He has a plane.
He has 2 boats. And I go, but Chuck, don't you have 2 boats? And he goes, yeah. And I go, so I do have a friend, and he's no.
That's the
Shut me down. It's like, yeah. Oh, so I don't need a boat because you have a no.
That's funny.
Chuck's hysterical.
I think the question you have to ask yourself in all these situations, whether it's a fitness trend or, you know, in the financial realm, is does this purchase or activity, is it going to bring me long-term benefit, or is it just a temporary gratification?
Right.
You know, and I feel like you can even go further. Like, what is one upgraded habit that you have that aligns with your values, and then one that you have that doesn't? You know, and you can, I would say I would encourage our listeners to commit to either keeping it or removing it.
Wow. Solid.
Right.
Give them a challenge.
Wow. Yeah.
But you have to be able to identify what is something I do regularly as part of my lifestyle that's upgraded, that, you know, aligns with
bougie.
Is important. Bougie.
Again, I feel very exposed over here. I feel like this show
might be pointing out some flaws, some of your areas. Jeff.
Yeah. Muscle shirts, I have a full range of them.
Yeah, how much? Let's look at your muscle shirt budget and call that into question. That's lifestyle creep. All of a sudden, he's got like gold lame muscle shirts.
Mesh. Yeah, they're just mesh.
It's just 24 karat mesh muscle shirts. It's like, well, Jeff, you know, that's lifestyle creep. You got carried away. Let's ease it back. Let's sell some of that stuff. I heard something that I was reading about the top 10 habits of wealthy people that we can all learn from. You know, you look at people who have really worked hard to earn. I'm not talking about lottery winners,
right,
or trust fund kid, but I'm talking about people who work hard to either earn their money, or if they've inherited money, if it's old money, they work hard to save it. And one of the main habits is they don't hang on to stuff that they don't need or use. A lot of them, like, hey, if something isn't working, whether it's stocks, whether it's this over here, or one of three, they have 3 houses. If something that's working, they sell it. They don't hang on to. A lot of the smarter, wealthier people, like Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, one of the greatest and most successful investors of all time, and one of the richest people in the world, he doesn't hang on to stuff he doesn't use or need.
Right.
And sell it, and then reinvest that money where it's going to work for you. He doesn't let money sit. He doesn't like things that cost him money, only things that make him money. And that's his thing. And you know, you can carry that too far as well. But I think that's a lot of what we're talking about here. It's like, don't own a boat. If you have a boat and you rarely use it, or if it's just costing you money, sell it and take that money and invest it in something that's going to earn you money, right? Well, or a rental property that could earn you money, right?
Right. I think there's, you know, Jennifer and I talk about this a lot because, you know, we think about, you know, our future, and, you know, we've decided that if we can rent it temporarily, we're going to do that. So if we want to rent a boat, if we want a boat, we just go, and if we're on a lake, we can rent a boat for the day, you know. And if you want to, you know, if you want to go and check out the mountains, you know, you go on Airbnb and say, geez, what's the nicest one that we can get in our price range for a night or two? And
you don't need to own a mountain home or a cabin, right?
Live in somebody else's really nice one, and enjoy that, and then go home, you know. And I think that, you know, there's some value there. I love Airbnb because it gives access to people who wouldn't normally have access to those types of things. To
really nice condos or homes to rent. And
we hate being in a hotel. I mean, hotels are nice, and, you know, they can be really nice, but you're really at the mercy of whatever food is going to be around there. And, you know, with Airbnb, we bring our own food, you know, we make our own, you know, it's
BYOK, bring your own kale, right, Jennifer?
Yeah.
BYOK, bring your own kale. I love that.
There's a psychology of that too. And Jeff and I have had conversations about the psychology of owning a boat or owning a luxury home. It's often tied to someone's identity or status, or,
sure.
You know, so
I mean, look at the size of Jeff's pickup truck. I mean, you know,
you can't
a lot of time there's no reason for the size. There's no practicality to it, like gas mileage or needs a truck. It's more about
it's like you're at my GMC's funeral right now.
I know.
I let it go. I did the Toyota thing. I traded it in because we live in the city now, and
Look at
Yeah, the
you.
GMC is too big.
Wow.
And
See there, you're combating lifestyle creep. I
Wow.
love that.
I
You're
did.
making
I
the
saved.
tough choices. I thought you had this huge Denali pickup truck.
I did, and then I let it
Wow.
go.
And I
Yeah.
mean,
So
big. You can't see how far wide my arms right now
That's big, I
are
know.
about 100 feet out. That thing was huge.
it was
I mean, they
huge.
can't see it.
But
It
I
was
see-
an amazing truck.
But no, that's good for you. I mean, I see these guys. I call them princess trucks because, and no offense, my dad has a pickup. I grew up on the farm, huge truck, right? He had a huge truck. But I see the guys that commute that are like financial advisors that I work with at Gradient, you know, the marketers or the people who work for Gradient Investments. Biggest Denali, biggest truck I've ever seen. Not a scratch on it. The bed, I look in there, no dust or dirt or scratches in the bed of the truck. So it's not being used, being used as a truck. And they're using it to commute from a suburb into the city to the Gradient office and back. So they're getting 11 miles to the gallon and driving this huge truck. It's impossible to park. And so we call that a princess truck.
That is
I don't mind anyone having a truck if they use it. You know what I mean?
I'll
But
say
if you could be riding in a smart car that's a 2-seater smart car and no gas mileage or an electric, why would you? It's only then about ego, then, right? It's only about lifestyle creep or keeping up with the Joneses.
Self-respect.
Self-respect. That's true. Smart. I went bad. I went all the way to smart car. There is such thing as self-respect. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm just teasing though. I like to give Jeff a hard time.
Well, I think so this is part of that article, right? So I said, like, I really wanted the Hummer EV, the new truck. I've wanted it since I saw it, and my chin dropped when I saw it do a crab walk and all this cool stuff. And then I was like, but a Tacoma is literally $50,000 less than the EV. And I was like, this is a real choice that I have right now. So we made, I made the choice with Jennifer. I mean, she was supportive. She was like, "What, get what you want." But I, after talking it through, and she is, what are you, second generation German, right?
You were supportive.
Yes.
That's you should have just you really told him to make the choice you want. I would have hit him over the head and said, "No, don't even look over there at that Hummer.
Don't even look."
Yeah.
Don't even look at it.
She was super supportive, but I'm making it sound as a big deal, but it really was. I love it. I love the truck, and it is perfect for the city. And so that's the whole point of this whole thing is you can make good choices and have really amazing, vehicles and amazing lifestyle that doesn't involve that creep where it's overextending. And
you can live a very nice lifestyle without lifestyle creep.
Right.
But working with a financial advisor and on the health side, working with someone like Jennifer, that's going to make all the difference in the world. Now let's move on to we have two other things we're talking about here. We talked already about why Jeff's kind of a big deal. Being interviewed by Kiplinger. Now let's talk about the government shutdown or possibility, especially in your area, in the DC area. A lot of federal employees could be without work.
Well, it's a huge thing right now because not only are we facing that shutdown, there's also orders for mass firings, and then everybody that was let go, the clock is now over next week. So when this show airs, it'll be in the past, but the 30th of September is the last day for everybody who were let go, who took the buyout. That's their last day. That's the last time they're going to get a paycheck. And then now they're going to have to rely on an agency who may be shut down to process their paperwork for the retirement. So it's really a kind of a scary time for a lot of people. And I talk, I have quite a few clients that took the deal, and so we're waiting until after the 30th to make any moves. We have to, right? So
you're stuck until the 30th.
Yeah. So if you're hearing this and you're part of that, just remember you have access to your TSP. So don't panic if you're not getting that income. There are some things that you can do, and if you need help with that, please contact us. We'd be happy to help you out. and walk you through that process. It's not easy, and it's very stressful right now. But I will tell you, the people that took it, and they've had this time away. I mean, it's amazing how great they're doing. You know how much they're loving life, and maybe this is an opportunity. So if you're thinking,
they could look at it as an opportunity or blessing, and that's good. But we're also looking at possible future layoffs in government employees, and so the people who worked with you are going to be in so much a better situation, or worked with any trusted financial professional who's an independent like yourself, who's going to look out for them in their best interest, and who understands the federal benefits. And I know you have quite a few clients and people you work with. So I encourage our listeners to call you, especially if you're a federal employee and aren't sure, if you're going to have a job. We're not talking about the government shutdown per se, but what that means to people who took the buyout, what other laws and things are happening that could hint towards some layoffs, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just been an interesting time. And I think, as a whole, it's probably, it's just an interesting time. I don't know how to put it, but I mean, Jennifer's been affected by it too, right? Some of your clients had to stop coming to the studio because they had to go back to work in person, where it was telecommuting most of the time.
Sure.
There's a lot of changes, and I think there's not always positive changes for certain people in certain agencies. And so if you've been in that agency for certain areas of the government for 20 years, 30 years, there's been a lot of upheaval over the last 3 to 5 years.
There has,
even more so in the last 6 to 10 months. So it's a challenge. And I think people that are struggling on whether they want to hang in there, there's so many other avenues. Obviously this, we're not going to blanket advice on a podcast, but there are things you can do. And I notice a lot of people get out of public service and then find, work for a government contractor, or they've done well enough to call it quits and work on some passion projects. I know
early retirement.
Yeah. I have a client who wants to work with people in senior housing, as an activities coordinator, obviously taking a massive pay cut.
Oh, sure.
After they retire, but it's only because she has a heart for that. She's a Christian, and she loves to utilize her time to help pouring into other people.
That's so great.
This is wonderful. Yeah. So there's a lot of cool things out there that people can do. And so I think the message is that don't be afraid. There are people, I've worked most of my career, 90% of my career in, the government space. I work with a lot of public servants, Leo, lots of law enforcement people, lots of FBI, tons of people that are just, rank and file in the government. They're amazing people who've done a lot of work. So, I mean, I know that space, I don't work with 20-year-olds one day, 40-year-olds another. I work with people who are close to retirement who basically work for the federal government.
Yeah. You specialize in that area, and Jeff, and you've helped so many people in the community for so long in that area. So I encourage our listeners and viewers, if you're a federal employee, make sure you get a plan in place. And you might say, well, I have a TSP, I have this, I might have a pension, but you really need to get it organized. And before you do anything like take a buyout or retire early, have a full financial and retirement plan in place. And that's what you do, Jeff. Now let's move on. I feel bad we've kind of left Jennifer out. She's had some great input so far today. But also, Jeff, I know you mentioned the one other thing, and get both of your feedback on this if you want. I know you wanted to mention this before, but we had a guest on the last show, so it wasn't the time. But I know you wanted to share some thoughts about Charlie Kirk, and we're all devastated. Just political violence is never excusable, and it's horrific. And especially in a case, I mean, young man with a wife and young children.
I know that was
just a tragedy, who was putting himself out there, and making himself available and open to criticism in the public, and for somebody to take advantage of that, whether you agree with him or not,
right.
That's almost beside the point. But you and I share, as Christians, I appreciate the faith aspect that he brought,
Right.
and regardless of your political stance, a very committed Christian, and was trying to do the right thing. And this, and there are horrible people out there who are messed up, and it was just such a tragedy, right?
Yeah, I think the thing is that exactly what you said. I mean, I watched this guy for years, and obviously I don't have a personal relationship with him, but you can see the Lord work through him. You know what I mean? It's so, as somebody who is a believer, it was wonderful to watch him talk in a way that was confrontational but loving and respectful and compassionate and also very so smart and even I don't know if you ever watched the videos that he did in, I think it was Oxford, where he's debating some of the most intelligent people in the world, and
holding his own,
doing really, really well. It was an incredible thing. I mean, and there's so much more to him. I mean, obviously, as a dad and a husband, I mean, it's just a tragedy. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention this on our show. I think it was, and to take it to the next level. I think it should be a wake up call for all of us on any side of the fence, that communicating and understanding each other should be the most important thing, not looking to discredit or harm or hurt anybody. It's about everybody's experiences are different. And I think you have to say, just because I didn't grow up in that situation or I didn't live this lifestyle, that gives me the right to judge somebody else or try to quiet them because they have a voice.
Yeah.
I think too, I'll comment, as a believer, I think we're called to speak, truth in love, right? And to reflect Christ in how we treat others. And when rhetoric becomes more about being right than being righteous, it's easy to lose sight of grace and humility and the simple idea to love your neighbor, to love thy neighbor. And I think this matters here because it's not just about fitness and finance on this podcast. I think we talk about stewardship and, stewarding the body that God gave us, or stewarding the resources that he's entrusted to us, and doing it with, discipline or compassion or, that. And I think that's why I always bring our conversations back to alignment. Is I feel like if our choices, whether it's our path or our money or what we say, if they're not reflecting the core values of love, grace, and self-control, then we're drifting, from the bigger mission. So I definitely feel sadness, but I also feel hope. I think because, each of us has the chance, I think, every day to live out our faith quietly, but powerfully, and not through loud opinions, but, through more consistent choices that reflect God's heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to add an amen button to my sound effects.
I know,
I can press give it an amen.
Man.
Holy
and Tony, she says like 10 words up until then, and then just
hits us with the book.
Yeah, just
boom, right over the head, just wham.
Okay. Again,
whammy.
We have again, we're over here with crayons, and she's like Picasso.
Yeah, I mean, you're wearing your wheels up hat and a muscle shirt, and I'm over here making jokes, and she just hits us with wisdom. Jeff, it just she puts us to shame every episode. It's like, I love how it's this episode's mainly about you, and rightfully so, Jeff, because you're kind of a big deal. But we do all this talking. I'm quoted in Kiplinger. I'm going to talk about this, impart wisdom. I do help federal employees, and I'm like, this is great. And then she just comes in at the end.
I know.
And just with one paragraph, just boom, drops the mic.
I know.
And everything we said is just like, oh, baby.
I know. I just
really
feel
important.
humbled.
Yeah, not so much.
Humbled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she crushed us. She
Yeah.
devastated us
I feel like I need
with
to
her
go.
love. With her
I
love. I
need to
love
go
it.
pray.
Wow. It doesn't after she speaks, doesn't feel like, wow, I really need Jesus. I really need to do something right. I need to change things up and get right.
Oh,
you know?
I think the line was instead of trying to be right, maybe be more righteous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oof.
Come on.
Well, I think, yeah, that's
I
part
agree with you 100%, Jennifer.
good.
Jeff, you don't have to be on the next episode.
There's no need for me.
You can. I know you said you got a busy schedule.
Yeah.
You got an extra hour next week, Jeff. In fact, I might not even show up. Jennifer, I'll teach you how to hit record and just impart that kind of wisdom. And wow,
well done.
that's a great way to end the show. Listeners on YouTube, watch this on YouTube and rewind it, or listeners, just rewind that audio and just listen to what Jennifer said. We might put in the comments, just skip ahead to this point.
Yeah.
And I'll find the time when she started talking, and I'll say, just listen to this section of the show, and then we're done.
I love it.
It's really good.
Save you some time. All right. Well, hey, guys, great show today. We got to run. I wish we could do this longer, but you guys are so busy. You're helping so many people with the health and fitness and the finances, Jeff. So let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you before we go.
Do we have that website up yet? I think it will be by next week.
I think on her desk.
Let's just go with it's fitnessandfinancepro.com.
Well, it's Fitness Finance Pro. Let's see if it's up. Let's test this out.
Hopefully there's not an "and" in there.
There's not. I'm sorry. If you want to edit that.
Fitness Finance Pro.
It's coming soon.
Okay. Fitnessfinancepro.com. Hopefully by the time people watch or listen to it, it'll be up, because this goes live in a week. So
it'll be up. And all the contact information is on this site, fitnessfinancepro.com.
Yeah, and we'll change it on the banner here too.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, if you're a federal employee and want to contact Jeff, 540-371-9777, or go to fitnessfinancepro.com. All right. Thanks. Great show, guys. That does it for today's episode of Fitness and Finance Radio with our hosts, Jennifer Scherer and Jeff Smith.